My videos are ad-free. So if you like these types of videos, like and subscribe. It was a rainy night yesterday, or should I call it the future? It's difficult to comprehend time at this moment. Anyways, it was a rainy night on 11th June, 2070. I was in the backseat driving with my son and daughter-in-law taking a nap in the backseat. We were driving back home after attending a wedding. The wedding was a dull affair, but I was obliged to go because the granddaughter of a close friend of mine was getting married. We were all tired as we had to drive all the way from Oregon to Idaho. It was around midnight and my eyesight wasn't the best at my age. Also, the road was dark. Most of the people now traveled in Hyperloop pods underground. But we decided to travel by car as we all needed a family trip. Anyways, I was slowly getting sleepy, and I couldn't turn the radio on because I didn't want my son to wake up. He was tired after driving all night last time to reach the wedding, and had to indulge with the guests all day, so I decided to take the wheel on the way back to give him some rest. It felt like only for a moment that I passed out before I was jolted back to my senses, with the car going to the far end of the road. The road was slippery, and I tried to steer the car back to the middle. The sudden jolt woke my son up, who offered to take the wheel. I looked back, urging him to go back to sleep, telling him that I will be alright. When I looked back at the road, suddenly to my horror, I noticed a cat in the middle. Instinctively, to avoid hitting him, it took a sharp turn, leading the car off the edge of the road. I can't remember what happened afterwards. I remember seeing pitch darkness and feeling nothing before I was suddenly blinded by a sharp luminescence. It brought with itself a warm and drowsy feeling. It felt good, like all my troubles faded away. That I could just let go of everything and fall asleep forever under the embrace of that warm light. Is this what heaven feels like? Suddenly I found myself in a dark room. I woke up and it took my eyes some time to adjust to the darkness. I could see a faint glimmer of light and followed it, reaching what resembled a campfire. There were two big logs, and on one log I could see a dark-hooded humanoid figure with his back towards me. I put my hands on his shoulder, trying to figure out where I was. My words fell on deaf ears. He didn't react to anything I said. Suddenly I heard a faint whisper, with a cold wind gushing next to my neck. It gave me shivers, with a feeling of dread that someone was right behind me. I turned around instinctively and saw nothing. Suddenly I realized the room getting colder and colder. I sat to the next log to warm myself, forgetting about the figure momentarily. To my horror, the figure was now standing 1 inch away from me. There was black smoke where his feet should have been, and I could feel him glaring at me from above. I looked up, trying to see his face or lack thereof. What I saw still haunts me to this day. I saw an oval black patch with what looked like a miniature galaxy on it. The galaxy felt alive, like it was actually real. I could see new stars being born and dying, meteor collisions. You should not be here. I couldn't see where the voice came from. It was almost demonic, echoing again and again in my head. It almost sounded that voice came from inside me, like telepathy. I was too shocked to move as I kept looking at the headed figure. Where am I? Am I dead? Where are my son and daughter? Are they safe? For some reason I couldn't speak, so I started thinking these questions, hoping for an answer. What I got instead was that figure bringing his head closer and closer to me with each question, until he was almost in my face. Those were the longest 10 seconds of my life, after which I remember that figure sucking me inside. The next thing I remember is hearing an old familiar voice. Hodge, wake up or you're going to graduation. What? Where am I? I opened my eyes and looked around to see where I was. Where that figure had sent me. Suddenly I heard the door open and saw my stepmom. Someone I would have never thought to see again. She was a young woman. I don't understand. What's happening? Am I dreaming? Is this my life flashing before my eyes? I was so confused, which made my stepmom more confused, but she brushed me off and asked me to come have breakfast. I looked at my hands and in the mirror. I couldn't believe it. I could see the 19-year-old me. All my wrinkles had disappeared. There I was in my dyed blue hair, making sense of what was happening around me. I was back in 2019. I couldn't talk to anyone about this. I was alone in my thoughts. Was that life all a dream? But it was such a long and detailed dream. It took me a few months to forget all about it. Being old had made me forget most of my childhood memories, so I couldn't predict what would really happen. Anyways, I started living my life normally. But it was on that dreaded day 2 days ago when I locked eyes with this girl, when all the haunting memories came back. I knew I would marry her and she would die at the age of 36. That was not a dream. It was all real. This shock also brought back memories suppressed deep within the depths of my brain. Something which was not meant to be remembered again while I was living this life. I wasn't in that dark room with that demonic figure for a few minutes. I was there for much longer. And all my questions I directed at it were answered. Those memories inside the dark room returned. Where am I? Am I dead? Where are my son and daughter? Are they safe? I asked. You shouldn't be here. You were somehow cast into our dimension before your rebirth. This shouldn't have happened. Your kind is rare, but this has only ever happened once before. The demonic voice replied. What? I don't understand. I couldn't make sense of anything that was happening. You don't understand me. I am pretty confident that I am speaking your language. My apologies for not speaking to you the moment you touched me. I was shocked to see your kind here. And your language has changed since I last spoke to your kind 10,000 years ago. It took me time to learn the language you transitioned to in your time. I do understand what you're saying, but where am I? Who are you? And are my son and daughter safe? I was surprisingly calm at that moment despite the crazy events happening around me. Maybe because of the warm light I was embraced by. You have perished because of a heart attack. Your son and daughter didn't die with you. I am pleased to hear that news. But still I am another ordinary human. How am I rare? There are billions of us. We are tasked with choosing random people of your kind to welcome to our world. We do this every 1,000 years, a cycle we have termed as the interstice. You were born on 1st January 2000 at 12:01 AM along with 4 others, the humans we deem as rare who are born at the start of each millennium. You were chosen among the 4 of you to live with us in our world. But your kind has once before brought disorder and destruction to our world. As I said 10,000 years ago I spoke to that man. The devil which brought great calamity to us. We have since been careful of your kind. And we test your actions at every second before welcoming you as one of us. This involves studying your lifetime several times where you relive the same mortal life given to you. You die and are reborn until we are sure you can transcend to our level without harming us. This was supposed to be the 587th time you were going to be reborn, but somehow you were teleported to our dimension before we could welcome you. This has only happened once before with us. And we now see you as a threat. You shall be cast back into your world. We can't welcome you among us. Someone else will have to take your place. I can't comprehend what you are saying. Just bring me back to my son and daughter. I couldn't grasp the extent of what was happening at that moment. All I wanted was to see my family again. Don't worry. You will see them again. In some years. I will initiate the rebirth process now. You should lose all your memories with us here. But we never know with your kind. We will have to observe you. I was supposed to be a baby devoid of all my memories, but because of some anomaly just like I was cast into their dimension, I was cast into 19-year body. I am scared of what might happen once I die. Will I meet that figure again? What happened to their kind 10,000 years ago? What place was that dark room? I have been reliving my life the same way for 587 lifetimes. Should I change it now? If I do it, will my wife be spared of death at 36? I have so many questions and I'm afraid to sleep at night. I feel eyes watching over me at all times. I don't want to live like this for the rest of my life. Should I take my life now and end it all? But what if it was all a dream? What if there is no life after death and everything I experienced was nothing but a figment of my imagination? I don't know anymore. Thanks for watching, subscribe for more videos like these, and feel free to suggest specific topics or stories.